It is now clear that for many of our elected leaders, it's not even worth having a country if that country comes with real borders. The federal government, you may have heard, is on the brink of shutting down tomorrow if Congress can't come to an agreement on funding it. The main stumbling block remains DACA. That's, of course, President Obama's program that gives work permits to illegal immigrants who came here as minors. Almost all Democrats and many Republicans are pushing for an amnesty for DACA recipients, as well as for millions of other illegal immigrants. There's a striking fanaticism to their position. Illegal immigrants must be kept in this country at all costs, no matter what. For Democrats, it's understandable because the calculus is simple. Having abandoned the concerns of the middle class here, they need millions of new voters, and they need them fast. Otherwise, their party risks becoming a permanent minority. Replacing ungrateful citizens with obedient immigrants is their only hope. Every Democrat who's thought it through for even a minute knows this well. They can't say it in public, though, because obviously it's horrible. So instead, they're trying a new talking point. Illegal immigrants are terrific people, every single one of them, far more noble and law-abiding than you are. How dare you complain about their presence? You must be a bigot. The one problem with this line of argument is that it's vulnerable to facts. But until recently, there really were few reliable numbers on crimes committed by illegal immigrants. And this allowed Democrats to pretend that every person who sneaks across our border goes on to become a heart surgeon or a member of SEAL Team 6. We've got the data now, and it turns out, surprise, surprise, they've been lying to you. In the border state of Arizona, for example, illegal immigrants commit 2.5 times as many murders as American citizens do. They're almost 50% more likely to be in gangs. They commit more armed robbery and more sex crimes against children. Overall, they're about twice as likely to be convicted of crimes of all kinds, non-immigration related. And that's just in one state. In California, an illegal alien named Luis Brasamontes murdered 2 police officers. Brasamontes had been deported from this country multiple times. In each case, he came back, thanks to politicians who have zero interest in keeping people like him out. In court this Tuesday, Brasamontes bragged about his plans to escape from prison and murder more.
I regret that. The only thing that I regret is the kill too. I wish I killed more of them.
So illegal immigration divides the country, it lowers wages for those who can least afford it, and in some cases it literally costs Americans their lives. So why are we doing this? Because it's our moral duty. That's what our leaders are telling us. We have to. That's who we are. Just days ago, the Senate's most celebrated moral philosopher, Lindsey Graham of South Carolina, spoke for the country's entire ruling class when he explained the rationale for his views on immigration. Diversity is our strength. Now, you've heard that phrase before, obviously. You hear it every day. In effect, it's our new national motto, soon to replace the outdated and, in fact, polar opposite sentiment, e pluribus unum. Diversity is our strength. It'll be in our currency before long, trust me. But what exactly does it mean? You may have noticed that nobody ever bothers to explain exactly what it means. And more pressingly, is it true? The less we have in common, the stronger we are? Is a marriage stronger when spouses have radically different beliefs? Are you closer to your kids when you share no common points of reference? Do you speak the same language as your best friend? Could you be best friends if you didn't? These are important questions, given that our leaders are radically and permanently changing our country wholly on the basis of their faith that diversity is, in fact, our strength. Maybe we should have talked this through ahead of time. Somehow we didn't. House Majority Leader Kevin McCarthy tried to start that conversation today, and here's part of what he said.
We did not survive, grow, and become the most powerful civilization in human history because we are focused on our diversity. It is not our differences that makes us stronger. It is our unity despite our diversity. Unity in past, of principles, and of the purpose that brought us out of many unto one.
In other words, diversity isn't our strength. Unity is our strength. Don't the left lie to you. That doesn't mean we have to look alike. Doesn't mean we have to come from the same places. It does mean we have to share common beliefs. Otherwise, we'll hate each other, and the whole enterprise will fall apart. That's true in families, it's true in friendships, and it's true in countries, too. You already knew that because it's obvious. Our leaders spend most of their time denying it. They're lying to us. Kate Gallego is a Phoenix City Council member. She's running for mayor in that city, and she supports the continuation of DACA. She joins us tonight. Kate Gallego, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
So trying to think through how legalizing people who are here illegally helps American citizens. And in Arizona, we have some data on this because the state passed, as you know, one of the toughest anti-immigration laws in the country in 2010. And the effects of that have been studied. And here's what they showed. There was a short-term labor shortage, obviously. People here to work. They can't work. There was a labor shortage. But over time, automation made up for it, and wages went up for American workers. Costs, meanwhile, went down. Prison costs went down. Education costs went down dramatically by hundreds of millions of dollars. So given that we know that, why does it help the economy to legalize people here illegally?
Right now, the city of Phoenix is the fastest growing city in the entire country. We added more people in 2016 than on any other city, and we're constrained by our workforce right now. We just had some folks from the home building industry come into the city of Phoenix and say, we could do so much more if we had a larger construction workforce. We could be creating jobs, we could building new affordable homes for people to live in, but we don't have the workforce we need. And they said that the point that they really feel like it's changed was not having enough people through immigration.
Yeah.
We're
well, a lot of
losing
employers,
out.
I bet they feel that
Arizonans are
way.
losing out.
Yeah, a lot of employers make that case, and they mean it. They want obviously cheaper labor. I think all employers do. Why wouldn't they? But if that's true, if more illegal immigrants make a place richer, then how many specifically do you think Arizona or Phoenix needs? How many illegals do you need in your city to make it richer? Would more be better? How about 10 million? Would that make it even richer?
Right now, we are desperately concerned about our DACA recipients who are in our city. Arizona has 28,000 DACA recipients who have been great members of our community, who went to our high schools, were educated here. We've been investing in them for years. Now they're ready to give back, and we're worried about their future right now. Our Republican governor has stepped up and said they're an important part of our economy. We want them to stay.
Right. But you just said. I just want to get to the nub of it, though, because I think it's a big deal. I mean, once you legalize people, they vote, they bring their relatives. It changes the place, maybe for the better, maybe for the worse. But we should be clear about the effects. I think you'd agree. So if bringing in more people illegally and making them citizens makes you more prosperous, then why wouldn't you bring in 10 million and become really, really rich? Would that work?
Immigrants have been amazing contributors to our community. If you look at some of the data from Forward.us, Mark Zuckerberg's organization, so many of the entrepreneurs who've built our tech economy came here through immigration. And we in Phoenix are desperate for more people in engineering and computer science.
How many big tech companies were started by people from Central and South America, Latin America?
So right now I'm sitting in Phoenix, Arizona, very close to a company called Fortis that was started by a gentleman from Panama. It's one of our top engineering companies in this community, and they actually are one of our largest employers of at-risk veterans, which is a wonderful success story.
I bet he's a great guy and the company's great, but how many big tech companies were started by the immigrants that you're talking about, since you brought it up? How many?
If you look at, we have so many success stories in this community, and some of them have gotten national attention.
Okay. So I just want to be, because it's a big, with respect, I mean, look, I'm not attacking immigrants. I like immigrants, and I'm sure a lot of these people are great people. But people who live here, who are born here, or citizens, have a right to know the effects of this. So how many is the optimum number? If bringing in people illegally and giving them citizenship makes you more prosperous, what's the number, the ideal number of people we should give citizenship to?
Our country and our community was built by immigration, and we have so many stories in this community.
So I know stories, but I'm looking for facts, and I think it's fair to ask for facts. So John Lott, who's a researcher, a social scientist, got a hold of the conviction numbers, which the government of the state of Arizona has hidden from the population, because it's lying to the population about the effects of immigration, as you know. And he found that illegal immigrants in the state of Arizona were more than twice as likely to commit murder, and overall far more likely to commit crimes of all kinds, not immigration crimes, but violent and property crimes. So given that, those are facts, how can you reassure the residents, the legal residents of Arizona of all backgrounds, that this is good for them? I don't understand.
We and cities throughout our community have seen great success stories when people feel like they can work with the police department and there's trust. So we've had folks who did not have legal immigration status, but were willing to work with our police department and have been very important in helping us, particularly with drug-related crimes.
But do you acknowledge? Do you acknowledge the reality of what I just said? So this study, which got a hold of Arizona state numbers, which I think are legitimate, says that people illegally in Arizona are far more likely to commit serious crime. Do you not believe that? Are you just ignoring it, or what's your response to that?
So I just received the arrest and crime data from the last calendar year, 2017, for the city of Phoenix. And that wasn't what we found in the city of Phoenix. Unfortunately, violent crime was led by people who live here and who were born here.
That's not the question. Were people who were there illegally more likely or less likely to commit serious crimes in the city of Phoenix? Are you really saying they were less likely? I don't think that's what the numbers show.
Our 2017 numbers tell a very different story than the story that researcher is telling you.
So are you saying, just to be totally clear, because we're almost out of time, are you saying that you've seen numbers that in the city of Phoenix, people here illegally were less likely to commit serious crimes than citizens? Is that what you're saying? I just want to get you on the record.
I'm saying we need comprehensive immigration reform, and it will help.
Oh, you're slipping out of the question. I'm asking a very simple question, and you're not giving me a real answer, and I think that tells the whole story. Thanks for joining us. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.